the most with my co-host of the holy water with a side of green tea. With the gun show, the gun show, the gun show, the gun show.
Trying,
Now you know. But any,
I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. I'm
ha ha
trying to
ha
get
ha
cut.
ha
I'm trying to get them cuts. Let's go.
ha 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 ha. But brother, today is the day. Trying to dive into our podcast. Quick, fast, and in a
What?
hurry.
Right. What
Go
title did
ahead.
you put up there?
The difference between culture and habits. The difference between culture and habits. Um,
Did you say the
yeah.
difference, or did you say the difference, or what is the difference?
What is the difference between culture and habits? And
Okay.
I want to speak. I want to speak from a tribal mindset. You see where I'm going with this already, right, brother?
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
listening.
I'm speaking from a tribal mindset. Uh, what they said, cultures is what majority do. What majority do, or majority in terms of a group aspect, that's culture. Whereas the individual mindset, they consider that as being habit. Cultural is habit that turns into a way of life, a way of kind of like religion or so forth. That's my definition of what culture is. Culture is a way of living, a lifestyle that the majority follows. Because it's always going to be that specific person. But they said a culture is the operating system of a group. Habits are the default settings of an individual. So while they're related, culture exists as group level, and habits exist as individual level. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm listening to you.
Um,
Right.
Yes, like brushing your teeth every morning is habits. Brushing your teeth every morning, reading before bed, exercising 3 times a week, checking your phone when you wake up. You know what I'm saying? That's culture. How they influence each other. Culture often influences the habits people develop. For example, a culture that values punctuality may encourage the habit of arriving early. A culture that emphasizes hospitality may lead to the habit often of offering guests food or drink. At the same time, when many people in the group develop the same habits over a long period, those habits can become part of the culture. You feel me? You
Right.
feel me? Yes, sir. So that's my speaking from a tribal mindset, brother. Speaking
Ah,
from a tribal mindset, you heard me? Because I believe in the village mentality. Unless the village is staring is it has wrong information. Whereas I do think that if you're leading the tribe or the village towards a sudden death or in a burning building like Dr. King said, I do feel like you have to oppose that tribal leader. You know what I'm saying? That tribal leader if you leading our people to a burning building, in the words of Dr. King. But go ahead, big brother. Go ahead. Let me hear your insight and your feedback, brother, please.
okay. So I I I do agree with you on that, and because I got the same thing from my I got something similar on my AI over.
Yes, sir.
Um, it was like culture is a shared system of beliefs, values, and group behaviors. Whereas a
Hmm.
habit, I said I put the difference between culture and habit,
Yes, sir.
and it said culture is a shared system of beliefs, values, and group behaviors. Whereas a habit is a personal, routine action done by an individual. Culture belongs to a whole society, while a habit belongs to a single person.
Yes,
Um,
sir. Yes, sir.
so now I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna go into this argument. Okay. Habit and now this article is from Hot Stuff Works people dot howstuffworks.com, and then going into culture and traditions, family and stuff like that. Habit and tradition share a common characteristic. Both involve repetitive actions that a person feels compelled to take,
Hmm.
whether it's a conscious decision or not. But there's also a decided difference between the two. For instance, you may feel compelled to pick your nose while sitting in your car at a red light. Some This is what I'm reading now. It's funny, but sitting in your car at a red light, something we can all agree would fall under the category of a nasty habit. But you probably wouldn't. But you. This is an article. This is not me. This is an article now.
Hmm.
But you probably wouldn't call it a tradition. Let's
Yes,
hope
sir.
not. Anyway. So where does the distinction between a habit and a tradition lie? To answer
Yes,
that
sir.
question, you have to examine who is taking the action, what they're motivated by, and the period of time over which the action is repeated. The who part is easy. A habit applies to an individual or small group. A habit applies to an individual or small group.
Mm-hmm.
While this is what the research is showing here, what I'm reading from this website I just told you. While a
Mm-hmm.
tradition typically applies to a larger body of people, the
Mm.
word family, for example, is often paired with tradition.
Yes, sir.
But family and habit are not linked together in
Mm.
common language.
Okay.
A habit begins the process of evolving into a tradition when it extends beyond the individual and affects an expanding group. But that's only part of the change that must take place. So what I'm gathering from the information is like, I guess they made with this article, they made culture synonymous with tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not it's not a part of a tradition to do certain things. Like it's like some things are forced habits. Like
Mm-hmm.
like being enslaved. Well, let me use something else. Um having to sell watermelon out of slavery is a forced habit, but it became synonymous with culture because because it grew into financial stability. It grew into it was widely accepted into all of the culture. Then the culture, then you have a term, then you have racist culture. Now we could say white supremacist culture, but I don't want to use
Mm-hmm.
that term. I'm gonna say racist
Mm-hmm.
culture or prejudice culture that came in and started denigrating the people that were selling the watermelon. So they
Okay.
came in and started denigrating a whole culture that was forming,
Mm-hmm.
which created
Yes, sir.
which created the caricature of I believe you said the jigaboo or something like that. Whatever overly big lipped picture that they had where a watermelon was being stuffed in the mouth of a black person. That's
Yes, sir. With the
crazy.
black face and the red lips. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. Even
Yes,
though
sir.
there's a lot of extra melanated people with pink
Mm-hmm.
lips like that,
Mm-hmm.
caricature out of it.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, now you're going against a culture. You're going against a identity of people. But but yeah, man. So hey, what you got off that right there?
Um. Me trying to keep it on point, brother. Keep it on point, cause I have a tribal mindset. I have a tribal mindset. Um.
Okay, well, now you know
Again,
I'm gonna delve into your tribal mindset with documentation.
of course, of course, of course,
Okay.
of course. I'm a tribal mindset in terms of that's what I feel like. That's what I think. I think we've moved we've moved the goal posts. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. We moved the goalposts. We moved the goalposts in terms of standard, like our standardization in terms of living, our mindset. I don't think that we don't have enough um prominent leaders, prominent black leaders in representation of us. Um, uh, I think that most of us have that individual mindset in terms of just and I can speak for myself as I definitely had that and I didn't think of it as the whole. It's the whole mindset. I know I'm going off topic, but I'm gonna bring it back. I feel like I told you before. I think the more solidarity we had as 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 a as a race of people was back in the 60s, the 50s, and 40s, where we had our ancestors that fought for the luxury that we have today, that we striving for today. And I feel like today is more so, what they perceive as what the culture should be. Is more about living a life of luxury and not worrying about tomorrow. No standard, no models, no morals, no principles. Just everyone for themselves, making it by living lavish, luxurious lifestyle. It ain't no structures being implemented. Well, there's structures is being implemented, but we've lost our identity. We have lost our identity, and we replace morals and principles and integrity for luxury. That's what I feel. That's what I think, and I see what's happening now. But to piggyback of what you're saying is I agree with a lot of your state. I agree with pre- predominantly most of the things you said. However, in terms of culture, because I told you, I'm not going to sit here and bash. I'm not going to sit here and bash publicly publicly our culture entirely. It's a lot of great that came out of our culture, but I feel like we're lacking in certain aspects, certain departments. Do we need to tweak a few things?
Yeah.
I definitely think
You're
so.
not you're not staying on topic though.
Oh yeah, 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 no doubt.
The top the topic
But it's
the
like the culture.
topic the topic is what is the difference between culture and habit, and this is where the
And I
breaking
explained
down
it already.
happens.
I explained it already.
Yeah, but you gotta you still. I mean, you're going into culture, but you're treating I don't know. I just because I got a whole, maybe it's because I got a whole list of questions. I got like 6 questions here up under this one
Okay.
topic question.
Yes, sir.
So it's like, so
Let's
let
go
me
ahead.
ask you these
Let's
questions
tackle it one at a
since you
time.
since you since you have since you have a since you have a different approach on culture. Let me ask you this question: Why is habit mistaken to be culture? Feel free to do real time research because I'm doing the same thing.
Why is habit? Because habit again is mistaken in culture. Habit could be something you do repeatedly over and over again. Habit could be
Right?
something you learn from your mother or your father.
Something habitual.
Yes, sir. You dig? Say the question one more
So
time.
so my question is, okay, so why is habit mistaken to be culture? So if something is habitual, how is it turned into something cultural when it's habitual? It's not, culture is more in depth. Like if I were to remember, because like I said, I got a lot of articles
Hmm.
pulled up, and
Yes, sir.
so, oh yeah, it's something else I want to talk about. So, can you answer the question first, and then I'm gonna talk about something? Just give the best answer you can. If you feel the need to do real time research, so why is habit mistaken to be culture? So this is my
Okay.
answer
Why
for
is because again,
why is habit mistaken.
habit sometimes culture. I repel something. Culture is what majority does. Majority does. It's an ethnic group. It could be us in New York City, us in Pennsylvania. But habit is something that most of the people do. That's what they project as what habit is. I mean, not habit, culture is. And habit is more so what the minority is doing on a small group of people. Prime example, music. Like music. Um, Horrible. Go ahead, and I'm gonna finish it off. Go ahead. I'm listening. I
Okay,
know you're
so
gonna say
basically,
something.
what I got from basically the AI overview, I'm just, habit is mistaken for culture because both involve repeated automatic behaviors that people
Repetitive.
perform
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
people perform without thinking. They look identical on the surface. On the
Mm-hmm.
surface, damn. And you
Yes,
did
sir.
say something
Yes,
about
sir.
service level, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go too deep into that.
Yes, sir.
But one
Mm-hmm.
belongs to an
Mm-hmm.
individual, but one belongs to an
Mm-hmm.
individual and the other to a whole group.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
From another article that I read, it may belong
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to gang culture for example. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
well, you know what? Let me go to where I was what I was going to say before.
I'm
So
listening,
basically,
brother.
okay, say okay. So this is the question I asked, right? I said, can a culture be divided, or is a different culture born through? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and go further into depth. I ain't gonna finish the rest of that question because I want the I want to give the overview. Cultures can both divide internally and
Mm-hmm.
give birth to new distinct cultures through a process more accurately
Mm-hmm.
called ethnogenesis. Ethnogenesis, which is
Okay.
very
Okay.
important, right? Which is how you get people
Mm-hmm.
from, like, let's say I'm from Georgia, and you got people that are New Yorkers.
Yes, sir.
The only thing
Mm-hmm.
that connects us is the fact that we're from the same country. But if it was two
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ain't that a
Gianna,
fact? What's
New,
going, Gianna?
New Yorkers would New Yorkers would definitely be another country of people other than Georgia, because it may not be an
Yes, sir.
ethnogenesis, but it may be a different form of difference. It's like a definitely a state
Mm-hmm.
difference. You know what I'm saying? So it's very
Mm-hmm.
important to understand that. So and if you look at it also talks about like cultural division and stuff like that. Cultural division, a single culture can fracture due to geographic separation, political conflict, or ideological distinct subcultures or deep societal rifts. So
Mm,
now,
sub
so now, so now you got
subculture.
subcultures and you
Mm-hmm.
got societal rifts, right? But
Mm-hmm.
what was the
Mm-hmm.
dominant culture? Like if I got a bunch of girlfriends, who's my main? Who's my main?
How we took it
Who is
there,
my
brother? How we
main?
took
Like,
it there? What's going on, Fluffy? What's going on,
what's
Grayson?
up? What's up with y'all? So who is my main? That's what I'm that's the goal here. Like who is my main woman, or who is my
Mm-hmm.
main culture that I'm supposed to be following? I got all these subcultures, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So 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 you, man, speak on that, bro. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You was talking about you was into tribalism, right? Or you had a
Mm-hmm.
tribal mentality that'll stem from tribalism. So tribalism, if you, I mean, I'm on Wikipedia. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not saying this off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Tribalism
Mm-hmm.
is the state.
Mm-hmm.
Tribalism is the state of being organized by or advocating for tribes or tribal lifestyles. Human evolution primarily occurred in small hunter-gatherer groups, as opposed to in larger and more recently settled agriculture societies or civilizations. With a
Mm-hmm.
negative connotation, and in political context, tribalism can also mean
Mm-hmm.
discriminatory behavior or attitudes towards outgroups based on in-group loyalty. So,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Clark was DEI. I don't know what the hell these people be. I know what DEI is. What does that got to do with the topic?
That's Grayson people. That's Grayson people. Remember Grayson from the last live, giving us all the
Yeah, I'm
feedback and
no,
talking about
I'm
the
talking
yak and so
about
forth.
I'm talking about
I know.
slices
I'm just saying
twice.
that's yeah. That's great people. Great brought his people with him. Grayson brought his people with him. I'm assuming. I'm just
I
talking
don't know.
smack. I'm
I
assuming. But
don't.
keep going.
But
I'm
we
listening.
don't know. We don't know if Grayson brought his people. If he did, that's
No, I'm
funny.
talking smack. I'm trolling because you know Grayson is our troll. I'll be welcome. Grayson is our troll. I'll be welcome.
Oh Lord, here we go.
He said the
Here we
same thing.
go.
He said the same
No,
thing.
no, no. Is it-
But I love the tribal mindset, brother, because it took a tribal mindset for us to progress as far as we did as a collective whole. I love the tribal. It took the Malcolm, it took the Marcus, it took the Martin. That was a tribal effort that got us, and it also took a lot of white folks to come towards, pushing to us to gain our civil liberty. That took a tribe. That was a village mentality. You understand? It took a tribe to get us. And I
Hey,
apologize, Grayson, for involving you in it.
man,
But you're
man,
our
hey,
scapegoat. You are my scapegoat.
don't apologize to Grayson. Okay, we don't
Yes.
have to
But
apologize.
it
We don't have to
took it
apologize
took.
for nothing. But let's, we got to focus on the matter at hand. You know what I'm saying? So if no disrespect. So I also want
Mm-hmm.
to talk about the difference between black culture and gang culture. Okay, so we
Okay.
use artificial intelligence, and then we go into the articles to do more research, right? So
Okay.
I
Yes, sir.
asked, I asked
You said
this:
black
is
culture
there
versus gang culture.
basically black culture
Okay.
history rooted in African heritage? I would disagree with that as well. When it says rooted in African heritage, I believe it's rooted
Mm-hmm.
also in indigenous American heritage, but that's another question. That's why I don't go with everything AI says. But
Yes, sir.
rooted in African heritage, the African diaspora, and centuries of shared history, resilience, and triumph. Expression encompasses art, literature, music such as jazz, blues, gospel, and soul, culinary traditions, family values, and religious or spiritual practices. That is black culture.
Mm-hmm.
Even AI understands that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The scope involves
Yes, sir.
millions of law abiding the scope involves millions of law-abiding people across the globe with diverse socioeconomic backgrounds, viewpoints, and lifestyles. Well, really, I'm talking about
Yes, sir.
America right now. But if maybe they compare that to the global black culture that's taking place. Um, so gang culture is criminal behavior, basically. That has nothing to do with black people as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So when people
Mm-hmm.
say gang culture is black culture, that's
Mm-hmm.
stupid. Okay, that's an
Yep.
ignorant statement, and that's idiotic. It is not. Gang culture has nothing to do with what black people got going on in the masses of us. Nothing at all. You know what I mean? Even if you look at most black families, the majority of black people in the regions of the U.S. are not gang related. Now you go to places like L.A., Chicago, you know, South Carolina, you know, Macon, Georgia. Yeah, it's a lot of gang culture. It's a whole lot of gang culture in certain cities. Like what's the name of that place in South Carolina? Columbia, South Carolina. Extreme gang violence in Columbia, South Carolina. Chicago, extreme gang culture. LA, Compton, or LA in general. Oakland. I don't know how the gang ties are in Oakland, but I know LA is very gang tied. You can't even wear certain hats over there. I remember me and my family was traveling over there a long time ago when I was a child, and a man was giving my mom directions. I was like real young, like 13, 14. And my mom was giving no, somebody was giving my mom directions. And he said, "Don't put your hands up when you drive through these areas because that's gang culture. You can't throw up signs and stuff like that.
Wow.
It could be insinuated, if that's the word, that you're throwing up a and my
Mm-hmm.
little sister did. My little sister said, "What if I'm from the Bunny Rabbit gang? Bunny Rabbit." And my mama looked at her. My mama did. My mama did. My mama said, "Put your hand down." So that is now
Mm.
that
Mm.
came. Now the funny thing about it is that's a perverted part of black culture. It's perverted because that mentality to stick together came out of what? The Black Panther Party sticking together, and then it was perverted into gang culture. But it has nothing to do with black culture at all. You still here, bro? You're frozen, brother. You're frozen. Dang, bro, you frozen, bro. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. What is your opinion that there is no white culture? I've heard people say that, but I don't know if you subscribe to that thought. No white culture. There's no white culture. Um, uh, are you still in the comments, Grayson? Because I can answer that question. Please don't, because I'm still here. I want to answer your question. Are you still here? Okay, cool. Let me just answer Grayson's question, and we might have to restart the live, or maybe you can come back. Let me answer this question. So you gotta understand something. I would have to ask you, where are you? Like, where's your family from? Where's your family from, Grayson? Like, are you Irish? Italian? Like, do you know or not? Like, what type of Caucasian are you? Because that's what you would focus on. You know, black, Irish, German. Okay, so if you're Irish German, that's your culture. Your culture is your culture stems from Ireland and it stems from Germany, right? But that you see is black culture and white culture is kind of different when it comes to defining terms because black people are thrown in a pot altogether. White people aren't thrown in a pot altogether. You know what I'm saying? Not as far not maybe they are, but not as much as black people are. Like you could say you're from Ireland or you're from Germany. Like me, I can't. I'm Black American, right? I can't tell people that I'm from Jamaica or you know what I'm saying. Like so, I would have to say that my culture is more so Black American. Um, Now it depends on what was widely youth. What is it called? What's that term? Eugenics. At one point, at one point, Hitler. At one point, when Hitler was running Germany, eugenics was used extremely. And eugenics comes from where? Eugenics comes from America in the 1920s. So that was cultural for Nazi Germany at that point. I don't know how many German people accepted Nazi Germany, but I know that I know a lot of Germans um, widely accepted that into the culture to eliminate people that weren't Germans. But that was mainly Jewish people
Mm-hmm.
that was mainly Jewish people they was targeting for whatever reason that was. So you have to look at the cultural dominance of what was widely accepted. That many people that's what I mean by culture when I say that. But white culture, that's extremely broad. That's extremely broad in today's world because you have racist white people, you have white people that still have a colonial mindset, but they may not be racist, but they have a colonial mindset to take over territories, which is a form of racism if you dig too real deep in it. So you got different forms of Caucasian people. You got subcultures. I mean, but
Yeah.
so yeah, that's I can answer that question all day, but don't get me started. Don't get me started. But all people have culture. Black people, white people, Asian people. I don't even like to use the term black and white because there is no such thing as black as far as race, and there's no such thing as white as
Mm-hmm.
far as race.
Mm-hmm.
These terms are very vague. You know what I'm saying? A white person is just a white person is just a light brown peach person. A white person is light brown peach, extremely light brown peach. But peach is a form of brown, am I right? Is peach a form of brown? No, I'm asking you, is peach a form of brown? Where did white people come from? They came out of black.
A lot of theories, a lot of science.
It is a form of albinism. But I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
out of the topic. I'm getting out of the
Mm-hmm.
question. But
Yes,
but
sir.
yes, of
Mm-hmm.
course all people have culture. All races of people have culture. Just to you know, what did you say? No, what did you say? What would you just say? What did you just say? No, no, no. I specifically said is there a difference between black culture and gang culture? Yeah, 'cause I know I specifically said that because I got it written down. Oh no, I had to. Yeah, I had to. Yeah, I don't mind answering questions, man.
Oh,
Everybody's welcome to.
I have no problem doing
Every,
it.
yeah, everybody's welcome to the podcast with questions, man. Well, well, yeah. Well. I was answering his. Of course, a lot of Irish people brought a lot of Irish, a lot of Irish and Italian people and many other Caucasian people brought a lot of gang culture. Even Jewish people brought culture here. But the reason why I said is it the reason why I said is there a difference between black people is because black people are probed. Black people are projected, not probed, but projected as being
Mm-hmm.
the gang culture. That's why I said that. But we know that
Yes, sir.
gang culture like that started like the 1920s, where it was really heavy in Jewish culture. Because
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Jewish
Mm-hmm.
people in the 1920s and 30s were in gangs, and
Mm-hmm.
Irish
Mm-hmm.
people and Italians. Mafia is just a what the term mafia is just a euphemism for gangster. No, 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 no,
Mm-hmm.
no, 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 no,
Yes,
no, no, no.
sir.
No, mafia is not a euphemism for gangster or gang. Mafia is just another term for gang. Because these are gangsters, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's how it goes, man.
Can I can I go ahead? Can I go ahead now and let me say my thing. My one thing I wanted to say, brother.
We definitely got to get back on
Um,
topic. We definitely got to get back on topic.
we're back on top.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, kind of whatever. I wanted to say, it's a difference between continental African versus African diaspora. And before I said it, I want to give a little disclaimer. All right, me and you had this conversation today on the phone today. Speaking of, we spoke on cultural differences, like cultural differences in regards to people was born here in America, who have heritage here in America, and how sometimes immigrants like myself,
Uh huh.
we come here to America, and it's a form of like a little form of division. And I hear from numerous people who's from the islands, some of them tell you the good side of the stories, and some tell you the bad side of the story. So before I start that, I just want to sit you and throw that out there, okay? I want to sit you and throw that out there, like in terms of experience and being different from America, being black but being different. I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead of AI, and we're gonna follow up. It says the distinction between continental Africans and Africans in the diaspora. It's primarily about where people and the ancestral communities have lived and how their histories have shaped their identities. All right.
Okay.
Example: Nigerian, Kenya, so forth, so forth, so forth. Ethnic group, nationality, local languages, regional. Da, da, da. The African diaspora referred to people of African ancestry whose family lived outside the African continent due to migration, whether voluntarily or forced. African Americans, African Caribbeans, African Brazilians, Black Britons, Black Canadians, recent da da da. The African American largely descend from people who were enslaved and brought to America. I know you have a lot of. I'm gonna get into that in a bit. The transatlantic slave trade, many cannot trace their ancestry, so forth, so forth. Despite the difference between many people, see and share connection to African ancestry, history, and heritage, there are also important differences in lived experience. Societies, diaspora communities have often experienced slavery, colonialism, segregation, discrimination, and cultural adaptation in different ways. Continental African refer to people whose roots and community remains of of the African continent. Africans in the diaspora refer to people of African descent whose communities have been established outside of Africa. often for generation with identity shaped by both African heritage. It's right there. That's a little separation. That's a little bit. But going back, the answer is
Yeah.
it varies but widely, and there isn't a single experience that represent all Black immigrants or all African Americans. Many Black immigrants report feeling welcome and accepted by especially in neighborhoods, workplace, churches, schools, and social movements, and so forth. All right. At the
Okay.
same time, some immigrants report feeling like outsiders for reasons such as the conversation me and you had earlier, their
Yeah.
accent or country of origin, assumption or stereotype about African or Caribbean people, questions about whether they are really African Americans. It's like from earlier, cultural misunderstanding or differences in communication style. Similarly, some African American have described feeling that certain Black immigrants with stereotypes about African American. Conversation we was having earlier. Those stereotypes can come from media portrayal, educational attitude in their countries of origin rather than from personal experience. This can create tension if left unexamined. All right, brother.
And
And
that last part was so important. The last part was said if left unexamined. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you have to really examine the facts of what's
Yes,
happening.
sir.
You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
I was an outsider when I went to New York. They was talking to me crazy when I was up there. And I'm from America. I'm from America.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so let me I just went to this website
No, we
Fire
gonna if we
Group.
gonna talk about this, then we gonna get there. Don't back. Don't skip on back. Let's address this. This is what I want to talk to my one and only point. Let's talk about this. Have this conversation, brother. That's why I
Hold
brought
on, let
it.
me see. What you mean you brought this? This ain't even a part of it. What is this? Is this a part of the conversation?
Yeah, the distinguish, the cultural distinguish. We talked about all today, brother. This is part of the conversation that I brought here today.
Okay, well I thought we was on the topic of what is the difference between culture and habit.
Yes, and we still on culture, brother.
That's
This is
not.
culture. This is the
I
underline of
said
culture,
I said
black
what is the
cultural.
difference? Okay, so if we're gonna bring this the difference between culture and habit, how does this tie in with culture and habit?
It's culture. It's culture. This is
Yeah, it's
culture.
culture, but does it tie into culture and habit?
The end of
In
the
the
time
different.
that's with
I
habits.
thought we were
Because
I
I
thought
wanna
we was talking about this Monday.
no, that was a different topic. You brought this. Okay. All right, keep going then, brother. I'm listening. You win this one. You're right.
Yeah, brother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get back to the main topic at hand. That's a whole nother conversation you brought up.
Right.
We can get to it, but
Yes.
that's a whole nother podcast.
All right. That's a part
No
of the
dis
culture,
no
brother. That's a
no
part of the
no
culture.
dis,
That's just the main thing I wanted to talk about today.
yeah, no disrespect, because I remember we was gonna talk about the roasting and how they talk about accents, and but how they was talking about Me Too, and how we can gather the information. But my
Hmm.
question to you is, how does habit define culture?
How does
And
habit define culture?
let me go into the, and
Explain.
let me go.
Explain. Yes.
How does habit? Okay, so I'm gonna answer it first. So I'm in this article on the firegroup.com, but that's fire with a P and a H. So culture is yet another word that has lost meaning in the ocean of corporate platitudes. Damn. And this is from an article. It's not my words. Are you guys able to read my comments, or is this subject matter just getting auto censored? Uh, I don't. Is it? How many comments have you made?
Last one we see with thank you. That's the last one. What I see. I didn't hide your comments or anything. That's the last one I saw you did. The thank you.
Yeah,
Irish, German. That's the last one I saw. I ain't touching my joint. Check the iPad, but I haven't seen anything. Might get censored.
got you.
I don't know.
Okay,
People come
well,
on here talking some greasy stuff.
here you go. Some use some use it as a synonym for work atmosphere. Others just throw any old word in front of culture to make themselves sound like a cutting edge company. Words like
Mm-hmm.
dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
purposeful, fun, challenge driven really begs the question, what in the hell are we all actually talking about? Is it a feeling? Is it a state of being? Is it a set of standards? Or is it just a bunch of BS built around something intangible and abstract? I'm gonna have to pin this because
Mm-hmm.
they get into the T for real. Whoever wrote this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see who wrote it in a minute. So, or worse than any of the above. Is it something invented, created by an outside branding firm? Yep, like ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, like ours, that has no basis in reality. To be 100% transparent, I was one of those who hijacked the word for the longest time. For us and on behalf of clients, yes, of course, we always had a culture, but it only existed in the hearts and minds of those who lived it over several years. The more we scaled and brought on new people, the more we lost it. Or more accurately, the more it became clear we never really had it. So we embarked upon a long journey to define what we're all about. Truth be told, I entered the exercise extremely skeptical of its impact. Today, I am not only a believer in its power, I'm also its biggest advocate, so much so that it's now a fundamental part of what we bring to clients to help them brand experiences. I now realize that culture is an abstract concept. Culture is a habit. Now that's what they said, but I don't believe culture is a habit. Yeah, they
Yeah.
this is why I read these articles and I examine the article and I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying culture is habit, but when you break down the defining terms of habit, maybe they make it synonymous, or maybe they summarize something habitual being turned into a culture or something that bridges into culture. But culture is not synonymous with habit unless those habits are being formed by a group of people, and then it's formed in a wider and is more widely accepted with those people, and then you set a foundation and it becomes prevalent amongst
Mm-hmm.
the masses of those groups. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I kind of view it. And this is more like a corporate like but as far as the AI overview, habit defines culture by turning individual repeated actions into shared automatic group routines. Culture is
Mm-hmm.
essentially the collect. Culture is essentially the collective accumulation of these everyday behaviors, transforming personal acts into social norms. But are those social norms like if I go to the ghetto, the black people that live in the ghetto don't have the same culture as the black people that live in upper class. They have, do you know that they have upper class black communities?
Of
They
course.
have upper class. There's more middle class black communities than there are projects and ghettos.
Mm.
Okay? There's on
Mm-hmm.
the other side of the city in Atlanta is like the western side. You know what I'm saying? And you see
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those ghettos. But how many middle class neighborhoods are in Atlanta where black people live? Man, I done been through bro. I done been through a bunch. When I was doing Uber and Lyft in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
I was taking black people to a bunch of middle class black. I'm telling you, these neighborhoods was nice, and it was
Mm-hmm.
predominantly black. Those cultures there are not the same as people in some areas in West Atlanta. No disrespect
Mm-hmm.
to West Atlanta, but West Atlanta, you know, that's where you can get, you know, where you can get the drugs. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I had a ride, you know, and I had a ride to somebody that lived in West Atlanta, and let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I asked him, did he have some, you know, he was selling weed and everything. I could have got some green, I could have got some weed, I could have got anything I wanted, you know, in that area. But guess what? You can
We
get
got him,
anything in the
officer.
sub.
We got him, officer.
You can get anything. You can get anything even in the suburbs though.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of drugs in there's a lot of drugs in suburban Caucasian areas as well.
Mm-hmm.
A whole
Of
lot,
course.
a whole lot of drugs. There's drugs everywhere. But It's
Mm.
deemed that there's it's deemed that there's drugs in the ghetto.
Yes, sir.
I completely believe you are not
Aye.
censoring me. It's YouTube. They get real sensitive about this. Okay, well, I get. Hey, look, you just gonna have to. You just gonna have to put some euphemisms in your speech to get past the YouTube, the YouTube sensory system. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah.
yeah, man. So I'm gonna ask you another question, and then I guess I'm gonna let you go from there, because I got a lot of hey, bro, I got a lot of information. I got so much information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm still gonna let you communicate. But okay,
1 second. I just want to say.
here's a good question for
One
you. Okay,
second.
go ahead.
1 more second. 1 more second. I want to say, Grayson and the whole crew. I thank y'all. We hit 100 subs. 100 subs is a milestone in the video about that.
Let's get
I,
it. Let's
yeah, we
get
did
it.
100 subs.
Let's get it.
Finally, you know
100
what I'm saying? We got
sub.
100 subs.
100
Yes,
sub.
sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
This 100. This is a milestone for now. And as we get to that 1,000, that's gonna be the next one. But 100, that's great right now for us
And
building
everybody
and grinding.
and,
You know.
and everybody's welcomed. This is a historical and a informative channel, you know, educational, informative, you know. It stems it stems in black culture. At the same
Hmm.
time, it's informative to all people who want to ask
Yes.
questions. You know,
Yes.
it's a world of
Hmm.
research. We can research all day. So
Yes, sir.
so it says, so basically, I got a question for you. I think you're
Go
gonna
ahead.
like this one.
Yes, sir. The tribal mindset.
No, no, yeah, okay. Why is culture different in each black region? Ooh.
When you say region, go ahead and explain. You talking about region as in America? Because you know it's always it's division, brother. It's division. When you said region,
Okay, say
define the region.
that's not, but you bring in something that I didn't ask. I didn't ask that. I didn't ask for that. I said, why is culture different in each black region? Whether that's Africa, Nigeria, or whether that's LA.
I feel like it. I think it's different, but it's the same. It's different in terms of I guess where they at the time. Like prime example, like in the Caribbean, in the South, as in Charleston, in New Orleans, in the Caribbean, especially in Haiti, and in Africa, they practice what they deem as being voodoo, black magic.
Yeah.
Exposure. That's because of exposure and stuff. Different, like we all, I think, culturally wise, stereotype. It fits, I guess, all across the four corners of the earth in terms of black people. Watermelon primarily got targeted towards here in America. You know what I'm saying, for their liberation, for financial liberation. But
Selling.
you said,
You gotta be selling watermelon, not just watermelon itself, of
yes,
course.
sir.
We were
Yes,
selling
sir.
watermelon. We were selling watermelon, and they created caricatures of us
Yes,
gaining our
sir.
financial freedom. Of
Yes,
us
sir.
gaining our financial
Yes, sir.
freedom. But go ahead. My bad. My bad. Go ahead.
And that's why I be having you begin with it, but you know what I'm saying? That's why I have you begin with the, you know what? I have you begin with the explanation. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah.
but it's different. I was talking to my elder the other day, and she was telling me, she's like, Leo, I listen to you. And this is a lady who was born here too. She said, Leo,
Yeah.
I listen to you. A lot of my stories, a lot of our sayings, a lot of, like, we have a lot of similarities in terms of our culture, our upbringing, certain, what you call again, what's the word? Like, uh, don't be, what's it called, superstition? Superstition, like sweeping your feet. You know, we have a lot of, like, it's a lot
Great.
of,
Grayson has a question though. Can I answer his question?
go ahead, Greg.
He said, "Is that?" He said, "Is that where that comes from?" Yes, that is where that comes from. When black people got out of slavery
Brother,
in
you
the
do this
18,
is too common now, brother. You doing this all the time. It's too common. We did that like for 3 podcasts already.
right? 1860. He didn't hear it though. In 1860, in 1860, when black people kind of got when black people was getting out of slavery, and they wanted that, and they got into that emancipation. When they was getting emancipated, they started
Hmm.
selling watermelon, and watermelon seeds are native to Africa. They brought that over here during slavery. So I'm new. Let me go to school. They started selling watermelon. You're not gonna learn this in school though, but I know you're talking about this school right here. This is a real school. You know, they started selling watermelon, and then when racist Caucasian people saw that, or Caucasian people with that colonial mindset saw that, they started mocking them with caricatures and pictures of big lipped black people, and they started denigrating them for selling watermelon. And when they started denigrating them for selling watermelon, they was making pictures, postcards, cartoons, and they did it for over 100 years, and it's still being used today to denigrate Black American in general. But even Black people from around the world use it to denigrate Black people here in America. That's how bad it is. How you take something good and turn it to some evil. You know, that's how that happened though, and that's exactly where that comes from. And you can do your research on that. I did my research on it, and that's where that came from. And so yeah, my bad, bro. I'm not gonna interrupt no more. Go ahead. What is that?
I don't know if you can see it. Jigaboo, brother. But that in the wrong way. I think it was offensive. They took it down. Like they took it down.
They took
One
what
second.
down?
That was a jigaboo. They took like the images, because there's a lot of images.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what they
Um,
created, brother.
contemporary.
See, see, that's what you call roasting, but you're roasting against people's economic capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you call real racism. Racism is when you denigrate, is where you derogatorily, where you use derogatory words or actions to stop people's financial growth or economic growth
Mm-hmm.
or
Yes,
political
sir.
growth.
Mm-hmm.
Information that goes against people's political growth and how they function as a people, that is a form of racism, you know, and that is a form of and
Consultant.
yeah, yeah, okay, okay.
Insulting us in the guilty man.
That sign language came from the Black Manosphere, right? Didn't that come from the Manosphere?
Guilty him. An insult.
Yeah, you said shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that came from. You know who that came from, man? I know you.
I said manipulation, brother. But I'm tying it towards that. I'm tying it towards what happened. What happened? The results and what happened. They made us feel
Okay,
guilty
okay,
about it.
okay. I'll let you.
They
I'll
shamed
let.
us,
Okay. Uh,
right?
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same though, bro. That's they used a form of racism that they used it as a weapon. That's a form of weaponry. Go ahead, brother.
Going back on. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like
man.
that's
Don't.
what it was.
Hey,
Like
bro.
I
Hey,
didn't
bro.
know. Like I wanted to say,
I'm iron. You're iron. This is the
yeah,
sharpening
yeah, yeah, yeah,
process.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yes, but that was them trying to insult
We're
us with
sharpening
the
each other right
caricatures
now.
and so forth. There was
Exactly. Look,
assaulting
he even
a
said it.
nigga.
He said it in the
Uh,
comments. Look, he said the name in the comments. Look, look at him. See, this is what I'm telling you.
what?
Because
That's what
how
he
you
said.
gonna how you
What?
gonna
We don't
how you gonna tie in
what?
how you gonna tie in that
But
statement
it applied for this moment. It
with
applied for
slate
this
with
moment, though.
no it don't.
It applied. Okay. So what was the purpose that you said of us gaining financial independence, right? Financial liberation. Oh boy.
Got to have got got to have originality. Got to have
Okay. Well,
originality, especially when it
nonetheless,
comes.
but nonetheless, it was insults. It was
Okay, yeah.
the the animated and insult from stop selling watermelons. Now again, even now in up north, I'm living up north right now, and you have brothers them that come from the south with their watermelons still continue to sell it to the culture still goes on. You know what I'm saying? I suppose to patronize a brother, you know what I'm saying, around the way
Yeah.
to do so.
It's still it's
But yeah,
still it's still people selling it's still black people selling watermelon right here where I'm at.
you feel me? I like listen to me.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say to be
Do they do
stereotypical,
they
but you know,
hey hey do they grow watermelons in the Caribbean?
oh probably.
What?
Probably more than likely, more than I never saw a watermelon.
You know
I
what?
never saw a
They
watermelon
got
tree.
different. I ain't never seen a watermelon tree either, but I know they got watermelons.
No. I know, but we do like we have them there, but I never saw like what I see a lot of. I would see a lot of mango trees. It'd be a lot of mango trees. I don't know if you're familiar with tambourine. Like
I
that's
don't know if you
plentiful.
I don't know if you answered the question though. Why is culture different in each black region?
I did. I said it's different because it's like a different rim and like a different. We adopted different cultures. We adopted different cultures, different places. We
Okay,
again,
got you.
our cultures is
Here's
was
another
indoctrination. Whoever
here's,
indoctrinated us
here's
at that
another
point.
here's another question
Whether
just for you.
whether it be the French, whether it be the French people, whether it was the Dutch, whether it was the English, Portuguese,
Here's a
whoever.
here's another question just for you. You ready? Why is black culture considered to be divided?
Can I say it? Can I say that? Can I say my little piece?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask AI because AI gonna give me a crazy answer. But go, I'm listening to you though, and give me your human answer, and then give me an
Mhm.
AI and I'm gonna give you the AI answer.
Everybody don't want to be free. Everybody don't want to be liberated. Nobody want to be free thinkers. They want to follow the masses. They want to do what everybody else is doing. Nobody is free. Nobody want to separate. I'm not saying nobody. Everybody don't want to separate from the crowd. People want any one individual. It takes a lot of effort towards doing something constructive and propelling the culture. So division. Everybody didn't want to be free. I had this conversation with you. We talking about in regards to slavery. All the slaves didn't want to be slave free. You had some slaves that went ahead and told master when the guys them was plotting their insurrection, plotting their rebellion. You think everybody didn't want to be free, so it's always gonna be division. Everybody think different. Everybody's an individual, think differently. Everybody don't have that tribal mindset. You know what I'm saying? Um, different people want to
Okay,
go different directions. Everybody want to go different direction. I want to
okay,
be a business owner. You have some people want to be they want to be a slave to work for somebody for the rest of their life. Some people want to be
got
financially
you,
in debt. Some people want to be financially free. Everybody going the right direction. And unfortunately,
got you, got
colonialism,
you.
imperialism, indoctrination has corrupt our mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay. So that's
So
that's your answer. That's your answer, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I gotta cut you off, brother. You go on. I got you.
Mhm.
I know it wasn't a yes or no, but it wasn't
Yes.
supposed to be a whole entire article. But go ahead.
Everybody don't want to be free.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. But
Hmm.
okay. So I'm going into an article right here. Race versus ethnicity. Why does it matter? Here we go. Are you saying? Oh,
Is we our religion, our way of life, the way we talk, the way we speak, that was all given to us by somebody else. Like people in the diaspora, who else was shipped off? The environment, like we talk, I talk the way I
That
talk.
and you have to tell him that's your opinion
Um, yeah,
because it's not my opinion. It's not my opinion.
okay. So I, oh yeah,
go go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. I was speaking for myself. I'm speaking as a tribal mind. You speaking from an individual standpoint. Oh no, no, no. What was it again? Union, not union. I forgot. I ain't gonna put no words in your mouth.
Okay. He's saying I don't know who he's who because I was talking when he asked this question, I think, or was you
Mhm.
talking?
I don't
Anyway,
remember.
are you saying culture is derived from the environment? Damn, that's a good question. Damn, that's a good ass question. Are you saying culture is derived
A lot of
from the
people.
environment? Damn, that's a good question. Hey, that's a damn good question, man. That's a damn good question. Okay, so first, first, I'm going to look up the etymology of environment. You know me, I like to dig deep. See, I'm not just I don't like answering I don't like answering questions from a surface level. Etymology of environment. I'm not going to ask AI the question, but I'm going to dig in. I'm going to delve into what environment really is. Okay, state of being environed, whatever that means. Sense of the aggregate of the conditions in which a person or thing lives. Specialized ecology since first recorded in 1956. Okay, that's the where's the adjective? Okay, your surroundings. See, this is a problem. Your surroundings, your surroundings, your culture does not derive from your surroundings. Let me tell you how I know this. Let me tell you how I know this. So you mean to tell me an immigrant who leaves Nigeria and goes to New York no longer has Nigerian culture because his surroundings is now in New York? Or what I
That's a
mean,
fully developed adult. That's a developed an adult. I'm talking about
okay, so
talking about birth. Like yes.
yeah, but see, we gotta see okay, so are you saying culture is derived from the environment? Damn, that's a good
Mm-hmm.
question, man. See,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be thinking real deep about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be wanting
Mm-hmm.
to answer. I'll be wanting to answer directly from like original terminology. But man,
Mm-hmm.
that's a deep question. Are you saying culture is derived from the environment? Damn, man, that's a deep question, bro. That's a question.
Mm-hmm.
That question got me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Yes.
I
Because I
get
wanted to say,
I guess
like, we can't sit here
he could
and speak on like an
he could have
adult standpoint.
he could assimilate over time and adjust to being more of a New Yorker.
Mm-hmm.
Happens to immigrants all the time, especially over generations. Some immigrants can't speak to their own children. Damn, damn.
Okay, I thought he left. Grayson
He's
was doing
breaking down. He-
assimilation. Assimilation different though, you know. Assimilation is different. What they said is I forget. It
It's
was one
true.
lady
You know what?
said.
You know what? The environment. I agree. I agree. The environment can influence you systemically and form a different culture in your brain. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you,
Mm-hmm.
brother. I agree with you on that one. I had to really think, like, you know, before I answer a question, I like to really like think before I answer it. Yeah, I would say so. But let me say this real quick. Race is based on common physical traits among people of shared ancestry. Ethnicity is a state of belonging to a group of people who share culture, including but not limited to language, ancestry practices, and beliefs. Black refers to a race. This is not AI. This is an article. Black refers to a race while African American refers to an ethnicity. Damn. Yet these two labels are frequently Yet these two labels are frequently interchanged or merged. Wow. Leading to the categorization of leading to the categorization of all black people in the U.S. as African Americans without consideration for their distinct cultural histories and current practices. Other ethnicities of black people in the U.S. that immediately come to mind are Afro-Latino, Afro-Latina,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Caribbean American, Jamaican American, Haitian American. Dang, they saying everything I was saying before. But anyway, and
Mm-hmm.
Nigerian American,
Mm-hmm.
amongst
Mm-hmm.
numerous other unique ethnicities. Unfortunately, African American is frequently used as a ostensibly polite and politically correct umbrella term for black individuals, overshadowing the richness of their diverse ethnic and cultural backgrounds. You see, what
Mm-hmm.
I just learned from I agree with this article right here to a certain
Mm-hmm.
extent because
Mm-hmm.
it's basically saying that black Americans have a cultural distinction, which is what was going to be the
Mm-hmm.
original title.
Mm-hmm.
uh we have a different diverse cultural background, but it's not being projected. The only background that's being projected is from other races of people. Like you, a Jamaican person can tell me they're saying that black people. I remember people online saying black American people have no culture. I remember hearing that, or they make it synonymous to negative, to a negative connotation or a negative terminology. And that's what I realized, and that's what I learned. And I believe that's a big problem. I believe that's a big problem.
Okay.
Let me ask you
Okay.
another. Let me ask you another question.
No, 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 no. You about to say all of that and me not kind of do no. So you said a whole lot, and I want to tell you because I'm glad you went right there because that's where I was going to take it. You heard? I was going to
I didn't
take it
hear you.
there. You heard? I tried to earlier.
I didn't hear you talking. That's why I said let's go to another question. But go ahead.
Yeah, nah. Because I said again, I lived in New York. I lived in New York for 7 years. I lived in New York for 7 years, and I hate like I found out I wasn't even black. They say when referring to black people is only referred to as African Americans. I say, hey, I'm darker than you. So I hate that. I hate that distinction. Like that's a division I speak on a lot. You know, you trying to tell me I'm darker than the people who's talking about that. How you going to gauge my blackness? Now you said if I'm not African American in terms of not just like that. Like you know how much American by nature, but I am black. I am black, and some of the times I'm darker than you. I'm 1159 black. You know what I'm saying? And that's sometimes like with your own a certain conversation to have with your own. A lot of people from the islands like they go through that separation without
That's
others.
not
So
true.
that's
But
like a
that's not
major
that
thing because
that. But that's not true. I believe that's more anecdotal than it
okay,
is true
okay,
for what than it is true for everybody. Because
okay,
the thing about it is, bro, that maybe see when you get around a bunch of black people, there's going to be a certain if you're getting first of all, you gotta understand New York is a very like in many places in New York when it comes to black people, especially New York City, very
yes sir.
impoverished. It's a lot of poverty
Mm-hmm.
there. So you have a lot of people with that ghetto mentality, you know, and not necessarily saying ghetto is bad, but the ghetto mentality when it comes to people acting a certain kind of way, opposed to people that may live, opposed to black communities that are more so middle class, opposed to people who are maybe more so middle class in different areas of the United States or what have you, it'd be a different approach. But if I go to the projects, bro,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting roasted. I'm getting roasted in the projects. If you live right next to the projects, you getting roasted. That's just the culture of that's the hey, that's that now that's a part of the black culture in the projects. But they roast everybody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And a lot of the times you hear a lot of black people saying, okay, you're not black or whatever, because what they should be saying is you're not black American. And that
Yeah.
is a more true
Yeah.
state. And that's what they probably mean.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you can tell people you're Bahamian. I have to say,
Yes,
you
sir.
can tell people two things. You can say I'm black, or you can say I'm Bahamian. I can only say I'm black, or the term that was coined by Reverend Jesse Jackson, I believe, African American. How you gonna put me in a whole frame of continent? I am native to this landmass. The majority of my ancestors are native. We was already here, indigenous before America even started. You know, my ancestors were. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like a big thing. Most of the time when I saw a lot of tourism, I saw I'd be like, "Oh, you're American. You're American. It wasn't no African American up until I came here." So you said that you have I'm American or I'm black. You dig what I'm saying? This is all I can say. I'm Bahamian or I'm black
But yeah,
because
but
you got white
but
Bahamians as well.
American,
You
um,
got white Bahamians as
just,
well. You got Asian
just
Bahamians as well.
yeah, just like Bahamian is a nationality, American is a nationality. But the
Ah,
predominantly, but the predominant face of the Bahamas is black.
yes.
Okay, but let's answer these questions. Let's answer his questions if we can real quick. How much of black identity is tied to physical appearance versus cultural identity? Darkness versus blackness. I don't think they're synonymous. I don't think that's tied because you got light
Yeah.
skinned Nigerians, you got light skinned Nigerians, and you got dark skinned Nigerians. How much of black identity is tied to physical appearance versus culture? Well, see, you got look, Grayson, you got to stand with me. Well, now him too, me and him. You have to make your questions. You gotta because if you say black, no, you good. If you say black, if you say uh if you say black identity and all this stuff like that, or physical appearance, I understand you're talking about phenotype. Ethiopian looks way different than me. Okay, even though there might be some similar African structures, they're different. You know, we're different. We're very different. Is that tied to cultural aspects? No, because I could go to Ethiopia. I could go to Ethiopia. Like I could go to Ethiopia. I'll probably find somebody look just like me over there. But the majority of people in Ethiopia, the majority of people in Ethiopia, absolutely. I can tell them apart. But is that synonymous with culture? Identity synonymous with culture? No, because
No.
me and you could be from the Bahamas.
Right.
I'm not from the
Right.
Bahamas, but I'm saying there's somebody in the Bahamas that
Hmm.
look like me, bro. You look like one of my cousins, bro. Literally, you literally look like you could be one of my cousins. But my bad, brother. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Yeah. No, I wanted to say. I saw a guy. Prime example. I was out of 7-Eleven. Gatorade is my thing. I was at 7-Eleven getting the Gatorade, right? And the brother, I didn't know where he's from automatically. He came to me and what he said, he's like, "Your brother, you from Liberia?" Brother came to me, said, "This ain't the first time I heard of African descent, whatever." These
Nipsey Hussle, Eritrea. Yeah. Nah. Uh, Yeah. So, but but you know what? To answer his question further, you can identify somebody's culture. You can identify somebody's culture off their identity if you know that they're Ethiopian. You could be like, well, Ethiopians. If you know that they're Ethiopian, you can be like, well, I know Ethiopians act like this. But then again, if they're Ethiopian and they're from Chicago, they may have a totally different culture. So I get it. So the next question is, how much of black identity is tied to physical appearance? Oh yeah, that's the same question. We answered this question. So let me ask you another question, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came prepared, brother.
I want
No,
to
you
peel
you no
this.
you no
Peel
you
this.
you you did too. You did too. I'm just saying I did. But what is okay? Why is black culture distinct in different countries?
Separation, brother. Separation. That's the mind of the oppressors have us all against each other. Have us all against each other. You know what I'm saying? That's when they had the mulattoes or the octoroons practicing colorism and so forth. You know. Um,
Right.
so because I said again, culture is culture is your upbringing, your upbringing, like what influenced you that your mother did, that probably your grandfather did, that your grandfather did that passed on. Cultural tribalism, you know. And I said different culture has different things like
Okay. Okay.
a go for a person who go and fetch you fetch this and fetch that. And I said, ain't that's weird? And I said that's weird and strange because we use that too. Like we call like errand boys. We call them gophers. I said never heard it before, so I never used it. You know what I'm saying? And the gopher's like somebody like an errand boy, like going for this and going for that, whatever else the case may be. So I see a lot of cultural similarities that I love, and I love, and it's like different walks of life, and I'm very. But that's all I got to say right now, brother. Hold that. So you give me that look of
Okay.
impatient.
Okay. Look.
No, no, you gotta talk
you
about it.
said you said I look impatient.
Yeah,
Why is black culture distinct in different countries? Okay, we answered that already.
I
Uh,
did. You didn't.
why is black culture distinct in different countries? I believe it's just different regional beliefs, different regions of thoughts. It's evolution and ethnogenesis that take place when you go to a different part of the world. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Everybody's just not the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't tie all the black people in the world to one culture. It just wouldn't make any sense.
No, never that.
Okay, now is
Never that.
this is my last
We all
question.
unique. We all unique, and we have all similarities. We have certain similarities together, but we all different in terms of again
Now,
our
now this
environment,
is
and what we went through.
now now this is another question right here, but this could be used for the next podcast. Well, whatever we or the next podcast after. We need to remember this question.
Yes, sir.
Uh, who created the term biracial? Because you gotta understand something. If somebody's biracial, you're almost saying that they're ethnic. They're bi-ethnic.
Mm.
They have two different ethnic backgrounds. So why is it that people who have two different ethnic backgrounds, if one parent is black, they're considered one ethnic background? That is
Mm-hmm.
confusion. If my
Mm-hmm.
father's not white, but if somebody is a black person and their father is Caucasian and their mother is, let's say their mother is Asian, why in the world would you say that you put this person in the Asian criminal list, but not the Caucasian criminal list? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the
Mm-hmm.
hypocrisy there?
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem, but that's what happens. And I want to talk about that later, man. This whole biracial, we
Mm-hmm.
gotta hold everybody accountable. If one of your parents are Chinese, then you that needs to go on the Chinese criminal list if they commit a crime. Because you could have got that same. They think black people is synonymous with the influence of criminality, and that's why they say, but if they become the president, like Barack Obama, oh, he had a white mother, you know,
Right.
like
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Ruckus said, like, you know, he had a white
Right.
mother, like his white mother taught him well, that's fine. It's fine. He got a white mother, but that doesn't mean. But he also went to Africa, to Kenya, to be amongst his people in Kenya, who may have influenced his well-being as well, because he used to travel over there. So what's going on here? Why is education
Mm-hmm.
or why is education and well-spokenness tied to a European dialect and something that's broken compared to a African dialect? That's a problem. And I think that stems with this biracial identity. I think it
Mm-hmm.
can stem, not fully, but that's a problem. Oh, you sound like this, you sound like that. What, I sound like I speak the language well? I could sound fluent in Cantonese if I spoke the language, right? English is not,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say this first. English is not the white man's language. That's number one. That ain't that
Mm-hmm.
the English language was evolved in many different racial backgrounds. It was just used primarily in Europe, but it was formed out of Germany
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of
Mm. Okay.
Moors
Okay.
and Western Germany, and a lot of Moors lived in Coburg, Germany in the 1500s, and that's around the time English began to evolve. Where you started, and this is before the letter J. So, come on now. The Moors had a lot to do with the English language as well, and the French language, and all languages, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the mathematics. Even black people helped to form artificial intelligence, but it was a massive approach on all cultures.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just a bunch of white people. It was black and white, and probably some Indian. You know, It wasn't just one set of group of people, and that's the problem I have. Don't give credit to one group of people for something
Mm-hmm.
when all groups of people did it, and that's good or bad. If both, if the
Mm-hmm.
pair, if they got black and if they got a black parent and a white parent, they need to that criminal chart needs to also go on the white side too. Don't just say, "Oh, this is a black child." You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That don't make no sense.
None at all. None at all.
Yes, sir. But that's it, man.
I want to say
I'm listening. Go ahead.
from we know where it came from. You dig what I'm saying? Go. That's me doing using artificial intelligence. All right. It says
Go ahead.
in United States, many biracial people with black and white ancestry descends from a complex history that includes voluntarily, voluntarily voluntary interracial relationships and marriages, especially after laws banning interracial marriages were struck down in 1967. Relationships during slavery were coercive, coercive or non-consensual because enslaved people could not legally consent to those in power. Because of this history, many African Americans have some European ancestry, even if they identify solely as black. Likewise, some white Americans have African or indigenous ancestry that may not be widely known within their families. All right. Can you hear me, Holy?
I'm listening to you. Go ahead. I hear you.
All right, can you hear me? Uh, um, you know what's crazy? Let me tell you the crazy part, right? And I ain't trying to make it a racial thing, right? Let me just tell you the crazy part. What struck me the hardest, all right? Is they banned the consensual up until 1967, right? But I was like doing the time of doing the time of before 1865 or after 1865, but whatever. They was allowed to freely engage in intimacy act with those type of people until those type of people gained freedom, and now they had the right to do it like voluntarily go ahead and mingle with. You know what I'm saying? Probably had something better than Papa had, but it was okay. It wasn't shunned upon up until these people gained their freedom, and now it's like it was taboo to do. But that was I just laughing at the hypocrisy, the hypocrisy
Right, right,
in
right.
this literature right here.
Well, the reason why they had to make it, the reason why they had to make it illegal, in my opinion, is because they didn't want the black men with the white women.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had to make it illegal, and not the other way around, because they were still having their way for a long time still. But
Mm-hmm.
even though it was illegal, but it was to prevent the black men from dealing with the black for the Caucasian women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Now when they
Because
say
it
that
had
was
nothing to
happening.
do.
That was happening often. Because mommy had free, she had free ring. 'Cause remember you had the inside dude when Master Go telling the line. The inside dude is up in there laying wood. You know what I'm saying? He's up in the house laying wood while Master do whatever he did. So I understand what you're saying now. Is like free rangers and taking up. Yeah, but I just find like the irony behind it. It was like, but why though? Like why you're prejudiced? Like why you showing your horn when it was like okay? But I understand what you're saying behind it because again you're taking his woman. You dig what I'm saying? You're taking his woman, and we can't have that.
He don't. Yeah, he don't want you to do the same thing that he did. He don't want to make that. He don't want. He didn't. He don't want to make that legal because he knew how atrocious. He knew how atrocious. He knew how atrocious his ancestors did it,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
legalize you doing it in a way where it could be accepted because they understand that laws are powerful. People will act off laws even if they don't think that way.
Mm.
Laws are
Mm.
powerful, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Bring it home though,
at
bro.
one
I mean, you
point,
have more. You have more to add.
no, that's it, brother. I was just gonna,
I'm
I
gonna
was
let
just
you
gonna
go.
do the I was
Go
gonna do
ahead.
the etymology of biracial came from 1904. It just means two. Of course, it means two races. Like racial is an adjective that came about in 1862, relating, pertaining to, or a characteristic of an ethnic race or race generally. A word of considerable frequency in the 20th century. By a word forming element meaning two, having two, double. So two ethnic groups. And it's funny how I looked at the etymology after I said that. It's two ethnic groups forming. So if you got two ethnic groups forming, I don't care how it's I don't care how much you reject the idea of your black of a person's black side. If one of their parents are Caucasian or Indian or any other
Mm-hmm.
race, they are by that product. They are by that product. Unless you want to do the old fashioned Hebrew way and just go by the father. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
What they were saying back in the days, the one drop rule. The one drop rule.
and that's a very racially
Yes.
inclined terminology because
Yes, sir.
that criminalizes black people statistically.
Mm-hmm.
If you say anything about a one drop rule, that means no matter
Yes, sir.
that means no matter if that person's father is white, Indian, Asian, if you say that they're black, that means any statistic will go against them if they commit a crime, but they'll be put in black
Mm-hmm.
statistic, which will make us criminals on paper for people to sit there and talk about, black people do this, black people do that. And I'm like, well, what about their white counterpart? Their father
Mm-hmm.
or their white mother, did they have any influence on them? Did their Indian parent have any influence on them? But just because they're black, that's the dominant side of them because they prescribe crime to black,
Yes,
or
sir.
they subscribe crime to black, and that is a that is a huge social issue. That is a problem. That is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But now check this out. I have a German grandmother, right? I remember I told you I have a German grandmother. Now, I'm not gonna put my German grandmother on paper because I'm predominantly black. Well, I believe whatever you are predominantly of, you can, if you're gonna be predominantly something, then be predominantly that. But if your grandmother is black, but the rest of your family is Caucasian and you look Caucasian, okay, don't sit here and talk about a one drop rule. That is BS. Don't sit and they'll say, you mean to tell me your black grandmother, you mean to tell me your black
Mm-hmm.
grandmother constitutes your crime that you committed. They're gonna say that this black person committed this crime and the rest of their family is Caucasian, but they got one
Mm-hmm.
African American grandparent. That's crazy to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy to me, man. It's wild, man. Like I got family that's predominantly Caucasian, right? But
Yes, sir.
they will be considered biracial because of these prejudice terminologies like the one drop rule. We need to talk about that too. So the one drop rule, biracial DNA, all of that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because we need to break this stuff down, man. I believe this channel is designed to bring equality to information, to bring equality to information, man. Because this is a problem, man. Are deemed black people are deemed as and probed as being criminals, and that's a problem, man. Even biracial black people, you know, and then you got people pushing that narrative. Oh, if one of your parents is black, then you're black. No, you are biracial. Period. You are
Mm-hmm.
biracial. My father is biracial. Period. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
But this is the issue that like, like I want you to be proud of your heritage, right? When you put it above, like you put it above, like somebody is. Asian and they're black. They're gonna be like I'm Asian and black, and they put a lot of emphasis towards the Asian part. It's kind of like that. Not to downplay nothing. It's like they try to do like being black is like a negative stigma or something. That would kind of gets me
Exactly.
like you're defecating on the black part. Like, oh, I'm Asian, and but I'm looking at you. You look just like me. You know, you're a little lighter than me, but you look just like me. I don't see that. I see more Negro in you than I see Asian. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, just like when you just like looking like superiority, like that superior complex, or you white and black, and like, yo, I'm white and then I'm black. And then I could tell how you carry on. It's like not to say how you talking or you acting or whatever, but it's like you're basically like you're defecating again on the fact of you being black. Like I see a lot of, and you know the crazy thing is, I see a lot of, I'm gonna call them biracial. I would say mulattoes, but I think mulatto now is a wrong term. But a lot of mulattoes now, like they fight, like a lot of them fight the mulattoes who look like mostly white. I see
Yeah,
those, especially
yeah.
the ladies. I see them fighting harder. They fighting harder than the girls who look like me, like the mulattoes, like yo, but I'm black too, and it's like you know what I'm saying. It's like I see them jokers fight hard.
Well, well, well. That's so. Well, the thing about it is, if I can say something, the euphemism for mulatto is biracial. By the way, I just want to tell you that. Uh, so, so basically, the reason why they go so hard is because they know the oppression of their black side. That's why that whole one drop rule came into being, because they know that their Caucasian side probably doesn't accept them as much. They are considered throwaways. Do you see the perspective? We don't, as black people, we don't look at mixed people and reject them because they're mixed a lot of the times. But if you're mixed, you're rejected by the idea of purity, which comes through eugenics from the 1920s, which the same thing that Hitler used when he started his Nazi party. He got that same ideology from America in the 1920s, and he
Mm-hmm.
took it to Germany
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted to use
Mm-hmm.
eugenics, and he wanted to euthanize the people that were mixed or of mixed lineage or whatever the hell he was trying to do. But he got that sentiment
Mm-hmm.
from America, right? And that is how a lot of stuff was formed. And this whole colorism ideology started. And then you have the one drop rule. And that came from a racial terminology. And this is why colorism is so violent. And it is a weapon that is used against all black people, you know, but you have to identify yourself as biracial so that you can stop this whole criminal nature being towards black people. But I get it. A lot of Caucasian people have this sentiment to reject the black side of you. So they just say, "Oh, you're black." Just like the Italian mafia will reject you if your mama's Cuban. I've seen it. I've heard it from Italian Cubans. Their mama could be Cuban, but their dad could be Italian. They couldn't be in the mob because of that. I heard that
Mm-hmm.
specifically from somebody when I was in truck driving school, when I was getting my
Mm,
CDLs. Somebody
mm,
told me that. That's very important to understand. So
mm-hmm.
so anything that's considered Caucasian, they're
Mm-hmm.
comparing it to the ideology of something that they're saying it's pure. No, Caucasian man, you're not pure because you're Caucasian. I'm not pure because I'm black. There's no purity amongst either one of us where, you know, our DNA just happens to be different, but you have taken it to a whole nother level where you're deeming it as I am superior, which creates this superiority complex, the superior complex, and it creates colorism, and now people my complexion are saying they're better than you because I'm so-called fair skinned, which is a problem. And that is a prejudice within the black community where we have to stop, you know.
Yes, sir.
So if I cut my hair, shave my beard, I'm considered accepted because now I'm fair skinned and I go back to my original complexion, which is yellow. If I go back to this original complexion, which is like a high yellow, now I'm
Mm-hmm.
considered I'm considered better. That is
Yes.
foolishness.
Yes,
That's
sir.
foolishness. Because I'm gonna be real
Mm-hmm.
with you. I'm gonna say something that a lot of people gonna disagree with, probably. But God looks more like my brother here than he looks like me, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Hey, I gotta pop my
And when I
collar for
say
you,
that,
brother. I gotta pop my collar for you.
and
You
when I
heard me?
and the reason why I say that is because the original beings are heavy melanated. The only reason why I'm the complexion that I am is because of my German grandmother. Everybody else is darker than you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, well, I ain't gonna say well, what I mean by that is like on my father's side, because my grandmother
Mm.
is dark skin.
Mm.
My grandmother is chocolate. My grandfather is chocolate. Both my grandfathers are chocolate. I got one parent, one grandparent that is not black.
Okay.
Everybody else
Okay.
is, everybody else is extremely
Mm-hmm.
chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Let me let
man.
me
So
let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and say that. I want to say this right because
say that one more time. Say that one
I
more time. Say that one more time. Say that one more time. You said you And you said unfortunately by what? That well, that's not
but I just wanted to. I wanted to keep the family.
okay. You're you're saying that it can form a broken family complex from
Yes.
from
I don't.
from the American nuclear family concept.
Yes, sir. Yes, I wanted to
Got
keep
it.
it. I wanted to keep it. You know what I'm saying, together. I ain't. I love both of my sons. But anyhow, nonetheless, that ain't the point. That's why I said. That's why I try to speed by it because I know you already, brother. I tell you, I try to watch what I say when I do it. I be like, dang, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving.
I'm sharp. I'm
I know, I
sharp.
know, I know. That's why you notice I didn't. You notice I switched my words when
Sharper than
you
a box
when
cutter.
I
Go
got
ahead.
caught.
I'm listening to you though. Get to I'm listening to you though.
But yes, I wanted to have like the family dynamic. You know, that's why I said I'm not saying fortunately, unfortunately, but yeah. But both of my sons, chocolate, the melanated, just like pops. But like colorism teaches like you have a lot of black brothers, a lot of black brothers. They rather choose a white woman to lighten up the texture of their children because the American standard. I'm talking about from back then, from slavery. They would go ahead and try to lighten up the texture because they want the baby with the straight hair. They want the lighter skin, the light skin, 'cause the hierarchy in terms of certain um backward way what culture what they preferences, because I grew up with colorism, live colorism, that where we put the light skin women, they get put on pedestals. The white women, they get put on pedestals. I want my baby to have curly, and that's the division I was talking to about a few podcasts about and earlier. You know what I'm saying? But me being who I am, when I was growing up, I saw, can I talk about one of my crushes, one of my celebrity crushes that's still alive. They got honored,
Go ahead.
like Lauren Hill. You dig what I'm saying? Like Lauren Hill, like that nice, doesn't it? And I ain't trying to put it, but it was like that was my thing. I love the chocolate, not because of that, not because I want to be rebellious, but that was my standard on beauty. That was my standard on beauty, and also light skin, because I want to say even Lisa.
Yeah.
So
My
go ahead.
my standard of beauty, my standard of beauty was a light-skinned woman with pretty eyes. That was my standard of beauty when I was early 20s. My standard of beauty was mixed or light, because my first crush, she was light brown skin and her father was like your complexion, but her mom was Australian white. Her mom was
Mm-hmm.
Australian white. That was my standard of beauty when I was younger. But
Mm-hmm.
I had to question that as I got older, right? What is my standard of beauty? Why was that my standard of beauty? Seeing a light-skinned woman with so-called green eyes or pretty eyes, a
Mm-hmm.
light-skinned black woman with so-called green eyes or pretty, even when women see my eyes, like when I get in the light and they sit next to me, oh, you got some pretty eyes, and I have to let them know.
Mhm.
Of course, I ain't gonna lie. I use my eyes sometimes. I ain't gonna lie, but my look,
Part of your
look,
charm.
check
Part
this
of your
out.
charm. Yes.
But my eyes are still recessive.
Mm.
They're still recessive. They come from
Okay.
a recessive side. Well, let me not say recessive. Let me say that black, that if my eyes were bolden and black, I would be able to see a little bit better according to
Mm-hmm.
certain science. So
Mm-hmm.
because your eyes are lighter don't make you better. And I don't know where
Mm-hmm.
we got that concept from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's pretty, you got pretty eyes. But guess what? The person with darker eyes than that person can see a whole lot better as far as the masses. Because light eyes are a mutation. Light eyes are a mutation.
Mm-hmm.
That is a recessive trait. That is not a trait of dominance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I'm
You
gonna say
know,
that no issue. But
any
I just want to tell you, we ain't
yeah,
no colorism this way.
anybody who has light eyes, many animals have light eyes and they are very submissive. I'm not saying that light eyes are bad, but don't compare your light eyes to being better. Just because you
Okay.
got lighter eyes don't mean that you're better. Because many
Mm-hmm.
cats have light green eyes too. Don't get it twisted. Having light eyes is
Mm-hmm.
almost animal-like. It doesn't mean you're
Mm-hmm.
more. It doesn't mean you're better. It damn sure don't mean you're more human. So don't get it twisted. Don't use your eyes as a symbol of greater than, or your hair
Mm-hmm.
texture as a symbol of greater than.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because my
Yes,
hair,
sir.
my hair feels a little bit different than a lot of other people's hair. But I mean, you can still sell. My hair is still kinky, which I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? My hair is still kinky. Why you looking like that, brother? You looking like you looking like that, brother? See, see, see. I'm educating, and you roasting. You see?
No, I roasting you. I'm just
Yeah,
like, okay, brother. No, no, I'm just like, go ahead. That's like my getting you not like, go ahead, brother. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Black excellence, brother. Roasting black excellence, brother.
Oh,
Go
here
ahead.
we go. Here we
I
go.
hear you.
Black excellence.
I hear you, brother. Mm.
You funny.
Hey, you ain't said nothing. You ain't said nothing offensive, brother. You ain't said nothing offensive. You feel me? That's what it is.
Oh, okay,
Cultural love,
okay.
love, brother, love, excellence, love. Like that's the culture, the good culture. I want to promote the good culture, promote the good history, not his story, because his story is what the what they call it, the ops. What the ops want to push. I want real history, not his story. History. You feel me? That's just it. Brothers, bring
Absolutely,
us home.
brother.
Hey, I wanted to say it was a wonderful, wonderful show, brother. Bring us home because you already know I have a 20-minute dialogue before I close out. So bring us home, brother.
Well, basically, thanks everybody for showing up. Whoever's still here, even
The hundo,
even
don't
if
forget about the
nobody's
hundo.
even if nobody's still here. Well, thanks for the 100. Even if nobody's still here, even if nobody's still here, I'm gonna act like somebody's here and say thanks to everybody that's here. And that's it, man.
Thank you again, family. Thank you for the 100 subs.
Be back.
Me
We'll be
making the
back
next video when
Monday.
we hit 1,000. I'll
We'll
be
be
back
back
tomorrow.
Monday.
Yes, sir. We back tomorrow.
Or
That's
you'll
it.
be
That's all we got, families, brothers, and
okay, no doubt. You gonna come back tomorrow?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, no doubt.
Peace and blessings,
Okay.
family. Holy looking and patient towards me. That's my assumption. I can't think for him. I can assume, and I definitely would assume, family.
You know
Peace
what?
and blessings,
Maybe
positivity.
no. Maybe we should do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, because those are very prominent days.
Okay. Okay. Tomorrow too.
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow's good. Tomorrow's good, family. That's what we listen to me. We had 100. I'm trying to hit 100,000 and then one M.
Hey, that's gonna
So
take a
4
lot of
days a
work,
week.
brother.
I know. We listen. We been consistent. Nice trail, nice reel. But family, thank y'all for 100. Thank y'all for enjoying us. Thank y'all for watching us just build, watch us grow, watch us take our path, which direction we go in this. Watch the channel just develop and grow and just flourish into what we envision. I want to tell you, holy is like the backbone, not the backbone. I apologize. I'm sorry. Before you start, I apologize, brother. I
Brother, let's
apologize
end the
before you say.
live. Let's end the live.
Yes. Before you say, we just say, right? Holy has been encouraging me. Holy has been telling me, like, yo, brother, you got to be on it, be on the money. You know, mind just come together. We formulate to do this. You know, Holy being on it. He get impatient when he ain't in it. I forgot what the word is. Like, you know, you just say
What is
your
it? What is it?
thesis.
Dissertation?
It's like your thesis. Dissertation, there we go. He just doing a 20-minute dissertation, and I just sit back and allow him to talk. But when he listening, he just want to stop. He just want to talk. You feel me? But anyway, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for your ride today. Peace and blessings. We be back on tomorrow. Most High willing. I'll see y'all. Peace and blessing and love. Come on, Holy.